That's what he told me.
He told me
that
too.
story too.
He told me that too.
And so it just deflates all your hope and just kind of makes you feel like no way. But that's why we created what we created, because I know how to talk to dentists, and I feel like these kind of things should exist for people that just need a little bit of help. And the thing is, when you get all these people involved, it just doesn't move. Like, my income's going to be the same this month as it always is,
right?
Whether I do this or not,
right?
At this point.
Okay, so now let's explain the nonprofit, because I'm guessing that these different people who contributed the contributed the different pieces of the puzzle. Yeah. Are they permanent partners in the nonprofit?
Most of them have expressed like a desire to like help out when they're needed. Okay. In exchange for me just mentioning them. Okay. Mentioning that they're helping us out.
So we should maybe remember that one name that was escaping you before.
Definitely. We'll go back and edit that in. But I actually didn't they were actually contacted by the denturists.
Okay.
I actually didn't even do anything for that. They kind of had a contact and they said, "We'll call them." And then they said, "Yeah." It's just like, it's so awesome that like they also went out and just made a phone call and got a positive response from somebody. Right. We're like, yeah, we'll do this.
So who are the players? Because it sounded to me like you said the nonprofit is a bit of a network of different people who are out there to just gift free dental work.
So right now, the people that we want as reoccurring partners are dentists. Dentists all over the nation, right? So whatever city you live in, if you're willing to do one of these every 6 months or do a case every year, then we want to work with you. Give you all the benefits of the free implants, the free lab work, the free everything. Remove all the obstacles that maybe a dentist might have in saying, I don't want to do this. This is too costly. It's too time intensive for me. We try to remove all of those obstacles and just we'll broker the relationship. We'll find the person that needs your help in your area. And all you got to do is do the work.
There is no shortage of people who need the help.
Yeah. So obviously we're going to fight this uphill battle where it's just like there's always going to be more people who want it. There's going to be more nominations that we can possibly do. But I like envision, like, honestly, being able to do 100 of these a year.
Across the whole network.
Yeah, I can't do that all by myself, but I can do my 2 a year.
How many have you done so far?
Stevie's my third that I've done with the podcast. So going back, like, the reason I started doing this was like 4 or 5 years ago, I really started hating my job. Like, I hated it. And I didn't like going to work. And I didn't like some people that I worked with and who were my employees, but I just didn't like being around them.
Okay.
And one of the major things I changed was just doing nice things for people. And so I always tell this story about this. One of the first people I actually did was like a girl who worked at the Wendy's drive-thru, because I go to Wendy's a lot, right? Okay. So I go to Wendy's and I see this same girl every time I go. Visible problems, like I can see it. Everybody can see it. And she's the nicest person
It's so heartbreaking.
Right.
Like when people, especially when you can tell that people are self-conscious about it because they're trying not to smile. You're making every effort to, but you can't.
Everyone thinks they're a meth head too. That's the other thing is that that's felt by these individuals is that they feel that, because the layperson just thinks, oh, that's what ruins teeth. It's got to be you've done it to yourself.
Right.
And there's so many other variables that can be at play here that are really, some of them are out of people's control. Some of them are in control. There usually is some level of neglect.
Sure.
But, it changes people's lives, man. I mean, when they can't go out, they become reclusive. They don't want to be in relationships. They don't feel like they're good enough. They just feel terrible. So one of the first cases I did was this young lady, and I just gave her my card, and I said, come by, and whatever you need, won't charge you $1.
That's fantastic.
Took her a few weeks, and then she came in, and that kind of started the ball rolling. And then I had.
Does she still work at Wendy's? Or
no,
is she
I don't. She's not there. I don't know where she is actually.
She's been upwardly mobile.
I don't know, but she's not there anymore.
Right.
So maybe things have gone better for her. And then I started just finding people. I had a guy come into my office one time. He'd been out of prison for 21 years. Well, no, he was in prison for 21 years, and he'd been out for a month.
Wow.
And he's like 42 years old or something like that. So he's only known prison, jacked up teeth, and I just felt a good feeling about him and started doing dental work on him.
You kept in touch with that guy?
He's back in jail now.
I believe I was going to say recidivism.
But but he was a good guy, and I don't regret anything. I mean, it's just, but that changed for me, how I felt about my job, and now I actually love going to work. I love doing things like this, right? So this actually has changed my perspective on everything. So we wanted to make a nonprofit based on that, because I like doing it anyways.
So the nonprofit is a network of dentists who are willing to do what you're doing, with
some level of frequency. Once every 6 months, once every year, even a one-time thing, it's fine with me.
Okay, and then the actual people who are donating the hardware, I guess you can almost say to like computers, like software versus hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's hardware. There's definitely hardware being given.
So there's no permanent partners in the nonprofit who are the hardware suppliers.
Not like as an official sponsor. Nothing like that. That's kind of the next step for us, is trying to get some sponsorship and some fundraising, so I don't have to pay Lowell in porcelain anymore. I can pay him in actual money, right?
Right.
So, but yeah, right now I just pay everyone with teeth.
Dude, look at this grill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went for like a Fang George Thorogood.
Yeah.
It looks great, man. I have no variation on the. It's just it looks dumb. but whatever. Okay, so that's the.
That's the nonprofit.
That's the whole picture of the nonprofit.
That's the reason we do everything. The nonprofit's called the Drilled Podcast Network. Okay. The podcast is called Drilled with Dr. Brady, but the podcast, the nonprofit's called the Drilled Podcast Network. And network just refers to like a network of dentists. What do you want?
I wonder if there's not a better name for it.
Oh man, tell me.
Well, I'm not trying to be averse.
Oh, there's definitely a better name for it. I'm sure.
But I just think, thinking out loud. If I'm a dentist in Baltimore, you said you got a guy in Baltimore.
I do.
I think. Yeah. And I think, and I'm this guy. I don't have anything to do with the Drill podcast. So it's maybe a little bit less appealing to be a part of the Drill Podcast Network when it could be like the Philanthropic Dentist Network.
No. We're just starting off, man. Like,
It's not better, but point taken.
It's not. Yeah.
I like that. Lowell says what I'm thinking.
Whatever, whatever the case may be, I just think that it would, I don't know, do whatever you will, because I think it's awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully, the idea is that this is contagious, and people see that you can do this. And the bet that I'm hedging is that there's dentists out there that are like me who just don't know how to do this, because there's a lot of reasons why you wouldn't want. I mean, there's a lot of people who don't like what I'm doing.
Well, there's probably a lot of people who would want to put a hit out on you for even explaining so transparently the profit margins in the,
Well, certainly, like dentists that charge a lot of money are going to want to justify, well, it has to be this much because of this, that, and the other thing.
Well, understood. And
I actually take issue with that. I think that's actually the most. I think elitism in dentistry is like killing the profession and leaving a huge portion of the population just uncared for.
Right.
With limited access to care, because
that's not just dentistry. That's human nature. Like that's just greed as
Right. So there's already a lot of dentists that are aspiring to like a fee for service model where I don't even accept your insurance. I'm just going to charge you. Here's the fee, and it's a higher fee. And you take it or you leave it, and those fees just aren't. The average person just isn't going to pay $2,000 to fix a tooth. If they need a crown or a root canal, and that's going to be $2,500, $3,000, the average person is just not going to value that, or even be able to swing $3,000 to save a dumb tooth. Right. So I've had emails from dental professionals who have said, and these are the emails that make me sad, because they say like, I don't think you should be doing free dentistry because it devalues the entire profession. And just so the way that people think about what I'm doing is just different. It's just a different way of thinking.
Right.
The way I think is, it doesn't move the needle for me to do this.
Right.
And it moves the needle for these people tremendously.
Right.
And I feel almost compelled to be like, I need to be doing this every now and then. I gotta be helping out from every now and then. I can't do this all the time, obviously, but I could get other people to do it, so that instead of me doing 100 by myself, I can get 99 other dentists to do a case of
It was interesting what you just mentioned, insurance, and how certain people want to take just a fee and not from does insurance pay the dentist less?
Well, every insurance company pays the dentist differently, a different amount. So the insurance company says, here's our fee schedule. Here's what a crown costs. Here's what a root canal costs. Here's what an implant costs. And as an in-network provider, I sign a contract where I'm going to agree to that price, and I can't change that price, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yes, the ultimate reason why a dentist wants to go fee for service is because they don't.
Be higher price.
If I liked the insurance company's price, I would accept that insurance, so I could get that fee, right?
Right.
The only reason to not accept that insurance is because I think the fee should be higher, and I don't want to be dealing with an insurance who has a fee that I think is low.
Well, right. It follows that the insurance company is going to get a better deal than the schmuck who's coming in.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But a lot of dentists just don't want to deal with the hassle of insurance and then a lower fee.
Right.
And so it's natural that they want to go that way, but it also is like, you want to be like, hey, wait, there's like people here, like the majority of the people who need dentistry are poor people.
Right.
So what do they do? And it's like government clinics, or they just started GoFundMe and
I mean, it's crazy how this conversation, in the context of dentistry, can apply to virtually every industry out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure healthcare has its own like set of problems, right?
Right.
And there's huge issues with the systems in place right now. But dentistry is something that is going that direction simply because dentists are choosing to go that direction.
Well, right, and it's, I mean, like literally any area of humanity, the housing industry, the way people are being priced out of
Yeah, definitely.
Like humans are just humans are shitty, dude. And it's really, again,
well, it's good to find good ones. I mean, like,
right.
I think there's more good ones out there than you think.
Right.
I think what's sexier to like news and internet sites are the shitty things that people do. That gets more clicks and more
right.
things like that.
I love what you're starting here.
Yeah.
And okay, so now, like, here we've kind of arrived. Like, what is it that we're seeking to get more dentists to join this network of giving?
Yeah, and then we are also seeking for anybody who wants to sponsor our podcast. So we're looking for like financial type of investment in what we're doing. I believe that what we're going to be doing is going to get a lot of attention at some point because of the level that we are giving away what I consider to be an uncomfortable amount of dentistry. It's not just a cleaning or a open my practice and do cleanings for free for one day. It's an deliberately uncomfortable amount of dentistry that we're giving away.
Well, right. In Stevie's case, we were talking about ballpark $50,000, but when we were just tallying it up, it sounded a lot more like in the order of $80,000 if you were going to go.
Yeah, well, and it depends on the area, because the area makes a big difference. LA is going to be different than Camas, Washington.
Right.
Big city is going to be different than rural. Right. So you're going to have some variability in costs, but definitely I think $50,000 for what we did with him is going to be a good place to start.
My latest stepmom is, I believe, currently in Peru getting dentistry done because it's so much cheaper there.
Yeah, definitely.
And she's from Peru.
Yeah. And I don't have a problem with that.
Right, like from what I gather.
A lot of dentists have a serious issue with that because they're like, no, if it's not U.S. But I'm like, how do you know how good someone else is if they live in there's certainly like what we do isn't that difficult. If you have a lot of practice and experience, it's just you can train a chimpanzee to cut on a tooth if you really try hard. Right. And see, dentists don't like it when I say stuff like that. I'm going to get emails about that one. But you can train a chimpanzee to do it.
Right.
And a mile down the road from me, I see terrible dental work. Just a mile.
Right, how about that? Yeah.
So you don't have to go to Mexico or Costa
Right.
Rica to find bad dental work. I can show you people who just went a mile down the road.
Right.
And so there's no monopoly that the United States has on good dentistry. It's
Right.
so as long as you feel comfortable. The only thing I tell people about going to out of the country is I'm not sure what regulatory agencies exist
Right.
to protect you if something goes bad, right? So if you're in Peru and you don't like the outcome, there are agencies that protect the consumer here in the United States that I don't know if that exists in Peru.
Right.
And it's hard to know. And if you're not a citizen, I don't know how you.
Okay, so now for the people who are listening to this who they themselves have terrible issues with their teeth and they're just going crazy, how do I get this? The way to apply is to be nominated by someone who is not you.
Yeah, so all you have to do is be nominated by someone who's not yourself. That's exactly right. So
and how does one nominate their loved one who needs dentistry?
So you email me at drilledpodcast@gmail.com. And
that's drill or
drilled,
drilled.
DRILED podcast@gmail.com. And tell me everything there is to know about that person. So I go through and I read all these.
I read them too.
Yeah, we go through and we actually go in depth. If there's photographs available, that's always helpful to see what we're dealing with.
Right, now keep in mind that this is essentially a lottery of a lottery where we're giving away uncomfortable value in dentistry.
Yeah.
So it follows that these requests should be succinct, heartfelt,
thoughtful,
compelling,
thoughtful.
Yeah.
I mean, like the idea is that our last go around we chose 3 people. One was a paraplegic Army veteran.
Mm-hmm.
One was a single father of 2 who was epileptic and drove his car into a tree, lost his 4 front teeth. He's been without his 4 front teeth for 12 years.
Oof.
And the third guy was just a normal dude.
Working dude.
Just a normal construction worker type of dude. Lives in Yakima, Washington, and his sister nominated him. Her letter was just very heartfelt.
Right.
And just struck a chord with me and got him chosen. But the more information I have, the easier it is to make a good decision. And we haven't regretted any. I mean, it's just the people that we choose, it seems like they're just the best people.
Yeah.
They're so grateful and super happy and awesome. It's super awesome to do it.
Stevie's a special guy.
It's cool.
I feel really good about that. So I think I might go ahead and pay Stevie a visit and see.
You should. He's in the hotel, right in the parking lot here. So.
In the parking lot here.
Yeah, there's the hotel
right
over there. Is we can walk on over there, man. I have a question for you though.
Okay.
Okay, so there's actually one. So I'm certain that you always get asked about your jackass stunts and all the stuff you've done. There's actually one jackass stunt I want to ask you about that you actually were not a part of.
Okay.
But your buddy Danger Aaron was.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Sure, the Lamborghini tooth pull.
The Lamborghini tooth pull. That's it.
There's a totally unknown story about that.
I would like to know that story because I watched that. I just rewatched that and I didn't realize that you weren't. Were you there?
I was not there
because I didn't see you on camera.
Okay. Here is the unknown story of it, and this would be a really good one to make a video with Danger Aaron about.
I've tried to get a hold of him on Instagram.
Here.
Maybe you could text him and tell him to come on the podcast.
All right. Now, Jackass the movie came out, and then there was never supposed to be another one. It was going to be one and done.
Yeah.
Legacy. And then we did 2 spin-off shows, which was Wild Boys, me and Chris Pontius, and then Viva La Bam. I don't think that Bam's uncle, Don Vito, had been a real player in the first Jackass movie. Maybe he was, but I just don't remember very well. But certainly Don Vito became this larger-than-life character.
Definitely.
On Viva La Bam.
Yeah.
And Don Vito had a lot of teeth missing.
Yeah.
Now, Wild Boys came to an end, and that it was largely because, hey, let's make another Jackass movie.
Yeah.
So for Jackass number 2, when Jackass number 2 came about, Bam made a deal with Don Vito Don Vito had like one tooth left. I think there was literally one tooth left.
It was supposed to be Don Vito.
And Bam said to Don Vito, "Let me tie your tooth, your one remaining tooth, to my Lamborghini and drive off with it. And if you let me do that, then I'll buy you dentures and get you all set up."
Yeah.
And it made perfect sense because that tooth was ready to fall out.
Yeah,
I mean, there's nothing to it.
Right.
There's absolutely nothing to it. So they did the Lamborghini tooth pull with Don Vito, and
They did it.
Yeah, they absolutely did it.
Okay.
And I wonder, was it earlier on?
But that didn't make it in. That wasn't in.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't in Jackass though.
This was Jackass number 2. Yeah, but here's the thing: they did it. It was great. It was like it was a beloved bit.
Yeah.
And Don Vito was a beloved character in so many of these scenes.
Yeah.
But then Don Vito was doing a signing, like some personal appearance meet and greet in Denver, the suburb of Denver where John Benet Ramsey had been from.
Okay.
And like was classic Don Vito, drunk, this and that, like acting like a maniac. And there was some underage girl where he like grabbed her inappropriately.
Oh,
I think
no.
he grabbed her crotch.
Oh, jeez.
And I honestly don't think that. I think he was just being Don Vito. Like, I don't even think it was, I don't even, like, he did it out in the plain sight. I don't think it was quite intended to be what it turned out to be.
Yeah.
But Don Vito was charged with like lewd, like essentially pedophilia stuff, like sexual assault on a minor.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was. It was no longer okay to include the Don Vito tooth pull. So that scene got deleted. That scene was erased from existence, as was everything. There was because you know how with Jackass you've got like the one guy's doing the stunt, but then you've got the peanut gallery.
The crew's all there watching.
The crew standing
rooting in front, cheerleading. Yeah.
In so many cases, Don Vito was part of that, and he was meticulously CGI painted out.
No.
Don Vito was scrubbed from that movie before it came out.
Oh.
He was officially scrubbed from that movie.
So then Danger Aaron just says I got this crooked tooth.
Well, no,
I'll do it.
It wasn't even that. It wasn't even that. What it was that Don Vito was scrubbed, and then again there was never supposed to be another movie, but all these years later, 4 years later,
Yeah.
Jackass 3D came out, and now here's the difference. The Jeff Tremaine, the director, it hurt his heart that the Don Vito tooth pull. Like the Lamborghini tooth pull was lost.
Near and dear to him.
It was near and dear. He loved it, and he couldn't let go of it. He was so sad to have lost it. So he's Danger Aaron, and someone just needed to have a fucking tooth pulled out by the Lamborghini. Didn't matter who. and as is the case historically, you got an idea, and they want to make it happen. They start, and everyone says fuck no, fuck no, fuck no, and then it trickles down to the very bottom, and the last guy on the end of the line is Danger Aaron. So, everything trickles down to Danger Aaron.
So he just drew the short straw.
Right. Danger Aaron, like he's the permanent holder of the short straw. And so that's what was so wrong about this was that in Don Vito's case, the thing was just ready to fall out.
Yeah.
But in Danger Aaron's case,
healthy tooth.
Tooth.
It appeared to be a healthy tooth. He had a little snaggle tooth. Like a little
right. There was nothing about that fucking tooth in Danger Aaron's case that needed to come out, that should have come out, and it was just the director wanted that fucking tooth pulled out.
It appeared,
and so it fractured his skull.
Yes. Okay, so that's the rumor that I heard that and that makes a lot of sense when a tooth is coming out, we put pressure down, right? We pull it down. But this Lamborghini is going forward, so it's the force of it's gonna pull this way, and the plate of bone that covers your maxilla, or your upper jaw, just does not seem like it would handle that. Right. Also, it wasn't normal floss. Could not have been normal floss you guys used, right? Was it like some kind of like fishing line or?
I think, yeah. It definitely wasn't normal floss. Floss would have broken. And I don't think that...
It had to have been some kind of fishing line that was like used to like reel in marlins or something like that.
And I don't think that they would have... I don't remember if they tried to say it was floss. Generally, there's a you know...
Well, I don't know. Chris Pontius is there like dressed like a fake dentist with like...
Right.
It's just a super awesome outfit. So I think they called it floss, but I was like, that's not floss.
Right. Okay.
Floss,
I say that
breaks.
because... In a general sense, there's been real integrity with with Jackass for not trying to pull one over on the viewing audience. You know.
Well, yeah. Floss definitely wouldn't have.
Right. I mean,
I don't know for sure
whether it was nylon fishing line or floss. I mean, I'm not calling that dishonesty.
And then it appeared in the video on the movie. It appeared that it hurt him more than he thought it was gonna hurt. Have you talked to him about do you have any insider information?
We're gonna need. I'm glad that you've asked that question because we were looking for something to shoot with Danger Aaron.
Yeah.
And story time is a fun little thing I'm doing.
I mean, his I feel like in his eyes I can see like he's like, what have I done?
Well, there was
that would hurt long after the fact.
There was a legitimate dentist on hand. I don't think that it was someone who appeared on camera. I think it was off camera where they did numb him up. They did loosen it to some degree.
Oh, okay.
Right. They did. But again, the tooth wasn't supposed to come out.
And then he's bleeding all over his face. I mean, like he's like. I mean, those things
it was totally appropriate for Don Vito. It was wildly inappropriate for Danger Aaron. And as with his holding of the short straw, it was another one of those things that has mounted, like with the fractured skull and like I mean his whole like whatever you would call that.
It's called the buccal plate of your maxilla, which is just the front plate, just like.
Right.
Comes out if you pull that way, especially with the the kind of torque a Lamborghini can put on that. That's just gonna Oh,
yeah.
But now he's got some cool metal thing in there. I see on his Instagram that looks like pretty dope. I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Danger. Danger gets like. Over the years he's been picked on. He's been just like people have just mistreated. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Oh really?
Yeah, like it's like Danger Aaron jokes, and that they have just been mean to him, and I really don't subscribe to that. I think.
I actually didn't know that.
It's been a lot of like on camera, like kind of he's the.
Like he's like a JV squad or something like that.
Like they kind of rib him. They pick on him, and it's kind of the thing. But I don't think he deserves it. I think.
He seems like a cool dude to me, dude.
He's a genuinely sweet, wonderful guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to meet up.
I'm excited to see. I'm excited. Anything tooth related, like.
Right.
Grabs my attention for sure. I'm super stoked about that. The last thing I want to talk about with you is super excited to like that you wanted to get in. Like, so I imagine you get interviewed a lot, and then when you get interviewed, it's always about like this stunt or this thing you did or what this crazy thing you did and this what was making you most nervous. But I don't think you probably get associated with philanthropic work very much.
A little bit more and more.
Yeah, so
people know that I care about animal activism.
Yeah.
People
definitely after the SeaWorld thing, for sure.
They certainly know that I advocate for recovery, sobriety.
Definitely. Yeah. So which actually, I mean, it's like, so a lot of people that knew I was going to be having this talk with you were like, what does Steveo and dentistry have to do with, like, why is he like, what's the deal with it? Why you're a dentist and you're a dental podcast? Why is he coming on your dental pod? It doesn't make any sense. But that's kind of what I love is that this kind of, for whatever reason, this kind of got to you and you wanted to run with it and you decided to come here and be a part of this, which has just been super awesome. Is that kind of, and then also with like when you made your YouTube video about your teeth, like all those responses about teeth, it must have echoed like, because you helped a lot of people with your sobriety too.
Right. It hurt my heart to see so many people that were desperate for help and could do nothing about it. Just to know that all of these people are just trapped in insecurity and in, like real dire medical, need. Can't do anything about it. And I can't help everybody.
Right. No, I feel the same way. I feel the same way. But the thing is, like, you've done so much crazy stuff that, like, is the philanthropy, like, has it, like, do you still feel the desire to, like, up the ante with, like, the stunts, or is the philanthropy kind of a new goal of yours that is filling a void where you're not doing as many crazy things anymore? But the philanthropy side of things is kind of where you, I think you're super helpful in this because you're so influential and you have so many things that resonate and you're so easy to, like, make yourself vulnerable.
It's an interesting question, and I think as much as at my core, I'm such an attention whore, and that's just all it ever was from when I was like my earliest experience before I can even remember. I'm sure. Yeah. Like I just came out of the womb, just look at me, like this whole just overdeveloped need for attention has characterized my entire life, and I never expected to live with all of the substance abuse, all the addiction, like just these perhaps mental illness. I mean, who knows? I just saw myself kind of failing at life, and my formative years, early career, it felt more like a function of documenting as much stuff as I could to proverbially pack my message into the bottle so that it could be outlive me. I didn't expect to be 30 years old. So to have gotten sober and to have begun to take care of myself, and then to be like confronted with the terrifying idea that at this age I might only be halfway through my life, right, is scary. Yeah. Because in our, more in our Western civilization, like in society, to be old is gravely uncool. It is right. It is not. It's not cool. It
doesn't feel good either.
Right. It is a party foul to be old and gray, because you serve as a walking reminder of mortality. And nobody wants to be reminded that they're going to become old. Nobody wants to be reminded that they're mortal. And so as far as old people go, nobody wants to look at them, get them out, put them in a nursing home. I don't even want to know where it is. It's amazing probably how many people don't know what the word hospice means, because they're so terrified of their own mortality and on top of having this identity for myself, which is based in adolescence, I'm the silly, do crazy stuff, kind of like this adolescent identity that I have. It's very not okay for me to get older. It's like, I struggle with it more than the average person.
Is that because people know you from when you were so much younger?
Well, just because of the nature of what I do, like dick jokes and, like stunts and, crazy skateboarding. It's like, it presents more of a challenge to be middle-aged for me. And I'm, using that to my benefit for comedy. That's my whole new tour is that, like, I'm in a jam. I'm Steveo in my 40s, so I'm kind of taking my own.
That's a good opener. That's a good opening line for sure, for real.
Kind of taking my own approach to it. But on top of that, on top of having this adolescent identity, to be such an attention whore, and then to get old, where it's like imagine needing to be the center of attention, but being this party foul, nobody wants to fuck with you. Like, nobody wants to pay attention to old people because it bums them out. Right. Right. You're literally a party foul. Yeah. So so all of these all of these things like really point to I better fucking change what's important to me, what makes me tick. You know, like it's like I'm gonna be woefully miserable if I don't adjust. And so philanthropy is absolutely a crucial.
And you find happiness in that.
I mean, it's something that I wouldn't have ever necessarily thought of, but you know, sobriety and recovery has such a focus on helping others, as does every spiritual or religious way of life. You know, like we think that it's pretty clear that selflessness is, you know, the solution to addiction, to everything. It's really like
everything.
See,
that's the message that we like to share too, is that, man, this is like my message to dentists. There's so many dentists that are unhappy in their life, right? And I just have this like little tiny niche of like the dental professionals. But my message is, dude, do some free stuff. Find someone who can't pay for that crown and just be like, I got you this time. You pay me next time, but this one's on me. Start doing that and see how you feel in your profession, in your life. And I think that's definitely going to that's got to carry over to other professions, right?
Sure.
Other walks of life, whether it's like, you know, animal rescues or whatever you want to throw at, you know, whatever, you know, angle of philanthropy you want to get at. But the idea of doing charitable service to other people is going to pay dividends and make everybody happier.
Sure.
So that's kind of our message too. And that's why I feel like the more like I've learned about you, it's like, dude, this guy's I feel like got it figured out, man. Like when people start going from like what they used to do to giving things to people, I feel like that's a person who's figured something out. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it's a gradual thing, but I think that for where I'm at right now, I'm kind of doing the same thing. But certainly, like with the tour that I'm on, with what like kind of occupant, it's still, oh, I want to do the next bigger stunt. I want to especially while I still can, because again, with the opening line, that totally is my opening line. I've got this problem. I'm Stevie in my 40s, and then I say, you know, I'm running out of time before it gets creepy to watch me do these things. So, so I'm like, while I still can, I'm really active, but I think that in reality, while that's sort of a funny line and it's a great premise for a show, the reality is that where I've never really particularly cared too much about like what I'm worth or you know, how much I'm being paid, and I've done notoriously poor business in my jackass career with just not even countering to offers. Like, oh, that's what I get, cool. You know, it's just how I always kind of did business. Was never motivated by money, because again, I never thought I was gonna like live to spend it. So but now, like, I feel like, you know, my girl and I, we want to open up an animal sanctuary. We want to like do all this stuff. We want to like, that's our deal. So I feel like I want to be really aggressive and really be like business minded, you know, like don't leave money on the table, because that's like acreage. You know, that's like, hey, you know,
another animal.
That's staff to clean up poo.
That's right.
You know, like,
that's right.
And so I find myself really like motivated to like, you know, have, you know, another ahead of me, another full heyday of my career, you know, like, and just really hustle. And, you know, like, even if it's under the banner of, while I still can, before it gets creepy to watch me do it, but like, I'm going to go all out. And it's because I want to be able to have a legacy of an animal sanctuary or whatever, like, you know, because more than the animals that I can save with a sanctuary, I think there's just, like you're saying, to contribute to the idea of, hey, let's, you know, let's give something back. You know, and so.
And I think, the more people that that idea starts getting contagious to, the better the communities become. And everyone does their thing. It's an animal sanctuary. It's a dental charity. It's a
100%.
You know, whatever your skills and talents allow you to do. You ought to put
Right.
those towards helping other
And
people.
how old are you?
38.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. No, and leaving the legacy is like, that speaks to me tremendously because it's like, that's what I want to be known for.
Sure.
I want to be known for, that's the guy who helped out so many people. Like that
Right.
makes me feel good to be able to leave that legacy, and that other people might pick that legacy up and be like, that's also what I want to do.
Right.
So that's, that's what we hope for, I think. Man, I'm out of stuff for you. Man.
Hey, dude, all good, man. I think that we probably did more than an hour.
Yeah, let's see here. But yeah. So I'm super grateful
Hey, man, likewise.
for you. Oh, we gotta do a secret word. Yeah.
A secret word.
Yeah, I do a secret word every episode. I give away $500 of free dental work. So every episode, my listeners, my local listeners, get $500 of free. So we do a secret word, and we reveal the secret word, and they email that secret word to me, and then I give them $500 of free dental work in my office. Would you like to choose a secret word? It can be any word or phrase or anything.
Anything you want.
Literally anything you want.
Is perio breath one word?
You can use perio
It
breath.
is now.
That's a great secret word. Okay, everybody, the secret word is perio breath. If you are local to me, you can get to me. Perio breath. If you email that to drilledpodcast@gmail.com, that is worth 500 big ones at my office.
500 Dr. Brady dollars, y'all.
Yeah, Dr.
All
Brady
right.
dollars go a long way. That's
Yeah,
good.
that's something
Exchange
that.
rate super good on Dr. Brady dollars.
Yeah. So Steve-O's secret word is perio breath. Perio, Perio, breath. And email that to drilledpodcast@gmail.com.
And we're going to accept that as a correct answer, whether there's a space between perio and breath or not.
We're going to be very lenient with grammar and spelling here. Definitely.
Right. You could even spell it P-E-A-R, pear.
Yeah. Listen,
Why?
we'll be very lenient. We'll be very lenient with how you spell this.
Right.
We just want to give it away, man. If you've been listening, thank you so much for listening. This has been amazing to have you with us, man.
I'm really, really glad to be here. I'm so glad we can make it happen.
I think we're going to go give Stevie a little visit
Sure.
in his hotel room.
Is his face going to be all blown up?
Probably
or-
not right now.
Right.
Probably not right now.
My experience
But
with,
like tomorrow and the next day, probably.
my experience with the face blowing up, it was always from bone grafts because they're hammering me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man.
I never want another fucking bone graft.
It can be rough. Dude, we should do some x-rays and check you out, man, because my offer still stands. If you I get it if you don't want to mess with this stuff, if you're happy with what you got, but dude, I'm just so thrilled that you're even hanging out here, man. You don't have to do x-rays if you don't want. You don't have to.
It's not that. I'm just thinking like let's find the shit I can. I'm not someone who needs charitable. We'll be all good, man. We're gonna we put it out there for people to know how to nominate their loved ones. I'm gonna make my own video, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah. So listen, follow Steve-O on YouTube, because he's gonna be doing a video that features this event. Correct.
Mhm.
And then follow us on YouTube as well. We'll be doing our normal thing, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all that good stuff. And that's it, man.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Thanks, Steve-O.
Let's go visit Stevie.
Yeah. Signing out. Bye bye.